started, just wanted to say thank you to everyone who joined. We are in for some good eats. We have Doniss here, who is going to walk us through how to make black-eyed pea succotash with collard greens and pan-seared salmon. So I will let him introduce himself, and he's joined by his wife this evening as his sous chef. So I will let Doniss introduce himself, and then we can go ahead and get started, and I will hand it over to you.
Good evening, everyone. Good evening, good evening. Welcome to this blessed kitchen with Chef Doniss, and I'm the sous chef Tasha, but I don't cook. So we're all gonna learn tonight, and we are very comical and down-to-earth folks, so we're just gonna have fun and do what we usually do every Saturday. So let's get it started. Here's your chef for the evening, Doniss Hicks. Take it over.
Good evening, everybody. It is so awesome to be here.
You gonna tell them what you're doing and stuff? Make sure you. Okay, go ahead.
So anyway, it's so awesome to be here again. My name is Doniss Hicks. I am a registered dietitian. I love to cook. Call me Chef Hicks. And welcome to This Blessed Kitchen. I am a registered dietitian again, and my company is Living for Life Wellness. And so this is what we do. We do meal demonstrations. I do meal plans.
How long have you been a dietitian?
And I've been a dietitian for 25 years. So it's been absolutely, yes, it's 25, that's right. So it's been absolutely fabulous, and I love doing this. And so it's a pleasure to be here for Black History Month. We're going to do a succotash today, and we're also going to do a pan-seared salmon. It's going to be absolutely amazing. And we're going to give you a little history about
ask questions.
The succotash, and then maybe at the end we can ask, you guys can ask questions about the dish, how it's prepared, so on and so forth. So the history of succotash, actually it's a Western African dish. There's different variations of succotash for every culture. But for the West African culture, succotash comprised of lima beans, corn, and tomato stew. Absolutely fabulous combination. Something that my mother used to prepare.
They used to call that the poor meal. Yes, we did make succotash. They call it the poor man's meal because it was so simple. You use canned vegetables, but he doesn't. But
straight out of the garden, they would use and take things that they grow or grew, produced it, and made it into this succotash. Sometimes they added meat to it, sometimes they didn't. A lot of African cultures are actually vegetarian. So, and if they added a meat protein component to it in Africa, they would add maybe a chicken or sometimes wild game as a protein source, or what we're going to do today is a fish source. So then along with the succotash, again, a combination of your corn, your tomato, and also your beans or lima beans. So let's show what we're going to be doing along with the succotash, which I said the historical component of the succotash. Today, our succotash will have tomato and another really popular staple in the African American community is the collard green. So collard greens were absolutely a very huge, actually originated from Greece. It was a Greek horticultural, or it was farmed in Greece, originally cultivated in Greece. Then eventually it made its way to the Americas, and the slaves, they were allowed to grow collard greens because collard greens at that time, there wasn't it wasn't profitable. Not a whole lot of people knew about collard greens. They prepared, so it was okay for them because back in at that time, what was popular was tobacco. So they grew tobacco, very profitable, and rice. Or they brought the Africans over from Africa to cultivate rice, and they were allowed to do the collard greens. So, but what made them different in terms of how they cooked the collard greens, they would again create a stew, but also add that meat component and add what is popular, what we know as pot liquor. So the collard greens, along with the juices and the different flavors and the different seasonings they would use, they would create this pot liquor, which is very
about to say,
prevalent in
talk
the
about
African American community.
talk
So-
about the pot liquor as a cleanse and
So
how.
now
yeah.
what they do now with the pot liquor, they use pot liquor, which my wife did.
Wait,
It
first
was
of all,
a
explain what it
cleanse.
is. Explain what the pot liquor is.
I just said the pot liquor is just
The
the
juice,
juices
yeah.
from the collard green
Right.
in combination with all of the different components,
Right.
the meat, the seasoning, sometimes without meat.
Okay.
But that pot liquor is very potent as a diuretic and a cleanser. So my wife, they do have
That's
a
me.
pot liquor or diet of this pot liquor. So it's very prevalent in the African American community.
So let me ad lib. You guys will not see me because I don't have any makeup or anything on. But anyway, the pot liquor, I did the pot liquor quote unquote cleanse for approximately, I think I did it for 7 days, 5 or 7 days, and I lost about 10 pounds. It flushes you all the way out. Everything, I mean, because what you do is you just drink water, tea, and the pot liquor all day. I mean, it's filling, so you're not hungry, but you're going to the bathroom, if you know what I mean.
So anyway, collard greens are very filling too. So at that time, they used collard greens in combination with different, again, of creating a stew, tomato, or just the collard greens itself. So the one component that I did not mention is very important is how you clean the collard green.
Oh yeah, that's
Because
good. Okay.
you have to clean it in this manner. So I mean, I'm not going to actually clean it, but what you definitely want to do is remove this stem. The stem, again, it does contain nutrients, but you don't want to eat the stem if at all possible, because it's going to lead to your collard greens to possibly be a little chewy and maybe a little bit bitter, because the stem is bitter. So what you want to do is,
and that's on all greens, right? Mustard.
Well,
okay.
collard green, because it's so
Bitter.
it's a very full flower,
Okay.
very full leaf, very sturdy leaf. So you have to remove the stem, because in most cases the stem is very sturdy, very, it can be thick, so you don't want that. So, and it can affect the flavor. So you want to remove the stem by simply pinching it away from the leaf. And then you take your leaf component, and then you're going to have to take it and soak it in soap and water. So soap and water, because the collard green, anybody who knows somebody who has cooked collard greens and you taste a little grit to it, then you're going to immediately put it down, because
they didn't
clean it good, because collard greens usually has a lot of dirt on it, just because of how the collard green is grown. It's outdoors, you got to water it a lot, so it's going to get a lot of dirt on it. You want that dirt to come off. African American community, we either do, and other communities as well, sometimes some people use baking soda to clean the collard greens, salt or vinegar, or a combination. Some people, I have heard, put it in a bathtub, which I wouldn't recommend putting it in the bathtub. But some people, I've heard them do that. I've heard of people to make sure that the collard greens are clean. I've heard people put them in a washing machine. I've heard all kinds of different things. It is not that serious. But people do that.
Okay.
But all we want to do is simply cut the collard green away from the stem, and then you just put it in the sink, rinse them. Make sure you rinse them really well, at least 2 or 3 times, and then they're ready to roll. And then your collard greens should already be, which I've already done. Once they're clean, we're just going to chop them like that, and have them ready to demonstration. If you haven't already done that, you need to make sure that we're doing that now. Okay.
Right. Can you cut some music on?
So.
Okay. All right. You ain't got time. Okay. Go ahead.
Okay. So now what we're going to do, we're going to start on the. If we're all ready to go, we're going to start cooking the succotash, and I'm going to start with dicing our red pepper. If you haven't already done so, I'm going to just go ahead and get started with it. I'm going to cut off the top and remove the seed part. Cut in half. That over there. And we're just going to dice these up. You need about a half a cup of diced red pepper. Okay. Just want to put it in one of these bowls. The red pepper is good as well because right now we still got the coronavirus around, but the red pepper contains a lot of vitamin C. So this is a very healthy recipe in terms of our immune function. Collard greens have a lot of vitamins and minerals as well. And then our onions also contain a lot of antioxidant properties that are very good during this time of the year. The cold and flu season coming on, we want a lot of antioxidants to help us to fight off these infections, colds, flus, viruses. Onions are good for our stomach, our GI system as well. So again, all we need is about a half a cup of the onions, about a half a cup of the red pepper. And cut up this part right.
You all can ask
now,
questions.
Also,
if
green
you
pepper as well.
Or if you need him to slow down, just let me know.
If you have on your recipe sheet, I think I had green pepper.
I was gonna say, maybe give everybody a few minutes to prep the greens and get those.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he's kind of quick. So if you guys need to
just say
slow,
just say anything, Amber. Just interrupt me or whatever, not to slow down.
Okay.
Okay,
yeah,
so
you can interrupt. We're all good. So are they cleaning greens now?
Yeah, and prepping the greens.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Cool.
And you can put some music on while you.
Okay. So if there's any questions, again,
they can put them in the chat or whatever, and I can.
Film me doing that.
And we just had someone ask, they said that they just joined, so if they can just get a quick recap of where they are, and I think that'll give other people a chance to catch up on cleaning these greens.
Oh yeah, no problem. Okay, so a quick recap. We talked about succotash and the origins of succotash. Succotash, there's different variations of succotash for every culture. Every culture cooks. But succotash basically is just a combination of vegetables, in various combinations of vegetables that indigenous people in Africa, Europe, India, all over the continent have created different dishes and different types of succotash. For us in the African American community, the succotash that is most often referred to in Western Africa is a combination of lima beans, corn, and tomato stew. So that's where we at with our variation of succotash.
Go ahead. I'm reading the question.
Okay, our variation of succotash will include collard green, which is a staple in the African American diet. I forgot to talk about black-eyed peas, which black-eyed peas are also a native to Africa, and black-eyed peas also, we do black-eyed peas in the African American culture as a sign of luck. So often African Americans will adorn their tables.
Because the greens are for money. Is that what you're talking about, greens?
Well, black-eyed peas are for luck too.
Yeah, black-eyed peas are for luck. So usually, at the beginning of the year, what will happen is a lot of African Americans will place money over their door. What's that called? The doorpost. To bring in the New Year blessings for the new year. Okay. So in the black-eyed peas, some African Americans would place a dime or some sort of coin or something inside of the black-eyed peas for good luck. Not everybody. In 2021, people probably don't do that anymore, but that is
black-eyed peas are considered
tradition.
Good luck. Fighting off evil spirits. That's why there's it used to be called cow peas at one point in Africa. But black-eyed peas, again, are for luck. Also very nutritious, very hearty. So it's going to add to the heartiness and the healthiness of the dish. And so then after that, where we stopped off was how to clean the collard greens. So I guess that's where we at. So when you clean your collard greens, You want to remove the stem because the stem is very bitter. It contains all of the nutrients can come up through the stem into the leaf, but we want the leaf, we want the tenderness and the tastiness of the leaf to be the primary component in the dish instead of that stem. So in order to do that, which I forgot to mention, but that's good, that's okay. So we just simply remove the stem by pinching the leaf away from the stem. And then once you complete that, you can wash your greens in soap, whether it be
what type of soap?
dish
You're gonna be dish soap. A little bit.
A little bit. Also, vinegar will clean the greens very well because there's usually a lot of grit and dirt on the green. And then also salt or baking soda. Sometimes people would clean. Rinse them real good. You just make sure it gets really suds, a lot of suds, and then you dump that water. You should see some little grit at the bottom of the sink. Rinse them off. You rinse your greens off really well to make sure you get rid of all of those, all of the dirt and whatever else, maybe bugs too.
Yeah, because there may be bugs in there.
So if you want to rinse all of that off, and then after all of that is done, then you're going to have your leaves. You're going to rinse them. I mean, shake them off, shake off as much of the water off as you can. Probably need a colander to do that. And then you just take your collard greens, and then we're just going to cut them like so, long leaf down and then across, in order to create some type of a cube or already cut collard green leaf. Very nutritious, has a lot of vitamins and minerals, a lot of antioxidants.
Can I ask a quick question about like the difference in fresh grains and maybe store-bought grains, like what you would do differently? Like if you can't access the, I'm talking about store-bought in the bag, like already.
Usually they're already cut in the bag, and then all you have to do is probably just rinse them off.
Right, rinse them and go. All right.
Or then the fresh is always better. Then you do your store-bought fresh, then maybe your can or frozen, then can.
How much collard greens they're asking?
We're just going to probably just do a couple of leaves. Probably only need one actually.
Well, tell them like what happens when you cook them.
Because the collard greens are going to, you tend to need a lot because they're going to like really shrink down in terms of what you start off with. I've done a case of collard greens, and that's only enough to feed maybe 10 people. So your collard greens, they're going to really cook down.
Just like spinach.
So yeah, so
like spinach.
One or two for this demonstration, 1 or 2 bundles, because they're going to be bundled together usually. So 1 or 2 bundles of your collard greens should be enough. Now you can just they cook quickly as well too. So they shouldn't, even if you do too many, don't worry about it. They cook down really quickly.
They're asking, they bought 3 bundles. Is that okay?
Yeah, that's fine. That was good. On the recipe. Okay. That's what I told them to buy. So as I go along with the demonstration, you may be able to add more collard green as we go, because again, they're going to cook down into this type of nice stew. So it's okay if you bought the 3 bundles. That's fine. That's what I put on the recipe. So
ready?
That's good.
Ready to go?
Okay, you guys ready?
We ready to go?
I know. Ready?
Everybody, they said they're ready.
Okay.
All right, let's go.
Let's go.
Okay.
Okay. All right. So now I've already done. There's some green onions that we had to cut up. So I'm doing all of the prep first, so we can just move on. If you have your green onions, just chop those down. That's going to be our garnish at the end. So you get all that ready. Just chop a few. You don't need a whole lot. Maybe 1 green onion to chop. Okay. And then, I don't know if I added fresh thyme, but for those of you who love thyme or fresh thyme, because thyme is a component in the recipe, fresh thyme, it's a very aromatic herb, and it also adds a lot of punch and a lot of flavor. But we don't want to use this entire stem. I think on the recipe I put thyme powder and maybe thyme dry flakes. But I like fresh herbs as well. So in order to get these leaves off, you can take, go from the bottom of the stalk down and kind of pinch off the leaves if you need, if you want to. If you have fresh herb, you may not have them, but I just wanted to show there's a technique.
They may have some in the.
They got the other ones probably.
Okay.
But I just wanted to show. I just like to use the fresh thyme.
All right.
Okay, so we're gonna get ready to start cooking.
Yeah, you have 5
Okay.
Okay, ready. Okay, here's the fun part, y'all. Here we go. Here we go.
Did our prep work? Stuff over. My kitchen. If you have garlic, which that's something else.
So he forgot. Very forgetful. So he forgot to tell you all about the garlic.
So if you have any minced garlic, grab that. You need about 2 tablespoons. And then we're going to be good to go. Or if you have garlic powder, that's fine too. We're going to add that. So turn your skillet or pot or whatever you got, turn that on medium-high heat.
I always make a joke. He uses these really old pots.
These are the best.
Which he claims are the best. So
these are the best.
All righty.
All right. So we're going to start with our adding our olive oil.
I like to show it.
Oh, the olive oil. This I got this from Sam's Club, I believe. So it's extra virgin olive oil. Medium-high heat. I'm gonna add about a tablespoon and a half of olive oil. Into the olive oil. Let that heat up for a minute. I'm gonna add.
Well, just let me know if you need to slow down.
Or 2 of garlic.
You'll get happy.
A teaspoon or 2 of garlic, minced garlic. 1 teaspoon if you got garlic powder.
That's just for the flavor, right? You don't absolutely have to use garlic, or.
I mean, you don't absolutely need to. I just like.
It's just for the spice. Okay, right.
Just for the flavor. And garlic again also has health benefits, good for your heart, absolutely good for cholesterol, stomach, everything.
Okay.
All right. So we got our garlic, and then after that, I'm gonna add the thyme. About a tablespoon, 2 tablespoons of thyme, or a teaspoon, I should say. I'm sorry. Again, you want to fry this thyme. I want all of the flavors and all of the benefits from the thyme to.
Is that the ground thyme or the fresh thyme?
Huh?
You said the fresh thyme. So what about the fresh thyme?
Yeah, you can add that. If you got fresh thyme, that's fine too.
Okay.
Okay,
He
so
just added the fresh
thyme. Go ahead and
so there we go. That's the fresh also right there.
Yep.
Oh, it smells good. All right, we're rolling.
Okay, so we frying our thyme. Then I'm gonna
it should start smelling good, everybody.
Then I'm gonna add my onion. About a half a cup.
Oh, he's adding a little bit more. Oh, you don't have. Oh, that's you. Okay. All right.
So, got our onion. We're gonna add our half cup of red onion. Then, if you have green onion, add that too. I mean, red. Oh, wait. Yeah, I'm adding red pepper, but on the recipe it's red and green. So just go ahead and add the red and the green pepper.
Okay.
You're gonna allow those to cook.
And the stuff pre-prepared over there. So.
we're gonna add our, I think I got 2 cups of mushrooms.
Are we okay? Is everybody following us pretty good? All right.
Mushroom again also have benefits to it. Again, you can see how the succotash, you know, you just adding different vegetables, different layers, different flavors, different components. This is going to give it a little bit of a, you know, again, a mushroom. You can use different types of mushrooms. You can use, these are white mushrooms, but you can use portobello mushrooms if you want. Use shiitake. You can use any type of mushroom that you want, and then you want those flavors also to combine with that thyme. So if you got fresh thyme in here. You got your dried leaf thyme. All of those components together. Your onions should start to be getting a little tender, a little translucent. Let that cook a little bit. And now I'm going to add my. I'm going to add my corn.
Very colorful. So you're sauteing yours, but some African American also put theirs in a crock pot and boil it.
Yeah,
right?
you could.
There's just different ways to prepare it.
Could be this could be like a soup or some kind of a stew, but we're gonna do it. We're doing it stovetop because I like to do it to the flavors come together
Better
with the oil and the frying and just getting everything together. You can see that a color is starting to come to it. Depending on what type of mushrooms you got. Again, some people prefer, if you like non-GMO corn, so it's a big thing about, you know, corn, most of the corn, 99% of the corn in the United States is genetically modified. So if you want a non-GMO corn, you can do that. All right, so next we can do let that cook a little bit.
Yeah.
Okay, so now we're going to add the stew part. We got all of the base of our recipe down with the mushrooms, the onion, the red pepper, green pepper, our thyme. Now we're going to add our tomato.
Do we add the liquid with our tomatoes?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, add the liquid. You might have to add a little bit of water, but add the liquid because that's the stew part. And again, we like that liquid because that's going to give the dish a little flavor. It's going to allow those different components to come together. So if you got some green in there, you got your red, you got your yellow, and then you have your mushroom. Okay.
Oh, nice.
Cook that. I'm going to add a little bit of water to mine.
So it's fine.
A little bit.
I didn't really care.
Got a little bit of water there.
Got a little water. I want everything to come together really well. Because we're going to let this sit. Once we get everything together, we're going to let this sit and cook a little bit more once we get everything in there and everything ready to go. So next, we're going to add our.
Hey, Doniss, I have a question.
Yes.
Did you put the corn in there already?
Yes.
Oh, you did? Okay. And then we have a question. We have a question from Andrea. She's asking if it's 14 or 28 can of tomatoes.
You can do if you have 14, go ahead and do the 14. If you got 28, you can do the 28, but you may have to add a little bit more seasonings to it.
It's a lot more, you saying?
Yeah.
Okay. So
So
14.
14 is recommended for this particular recipe. Okay, so then I'm gonna add my 2 cups of black eyed peas. That should be 14 to 16 ounces of canned black eyed pea, but you can do your own black eyed peas from the dry bean if you wanted to.
Wow, that's looking good.
So we're getting more of our succotash type dish together to it. Now, I'm gonna put a little bit of water in mine. I just want a little bit more of the juice.
You want it to be a little bit more soupy.
Yeah, a little more soupy. You don't have to, but that's going to allow those flavors to come together. Okay, now we're going to add, I think I got a ½ teaspoon of either do chicken base or vegetable base. If you're vegetarian, you can do your vegetable base, or if you don't have vegetable base, don't worry. You can add salt to this portion of the recipe if you want. Well, I prefer kosher salt, but whatever salt you have, that's fine.
Can you tell why you use kosher salt as opposed to regular table salt?
Kosher salt actually contains less sodium, almost half less sodium than regular table salt. So regular table salt, you're talking about 2,300 milligrams of sodium, and for kosher salt, it contains about 1,100 to 1,200 milligrams of sodium in a teaspoon. So,
right,
but I love the flavor.
Are we good? Are we good on time and everybody's good up until this part? Everybody had the black eyed peas in and everything?
All right.
Okay, go ahead.
All right.
Go ahead.
So I got this, I have the base in there, and now I'm going to add a little bit of, I think it's a ½ teaspoon I got on for you guys. This is a Cajun.
Can we see it? Let me see it.
Well, this is Creole, but I've got Cajun for now.
Okay.
But I do have Cajun. That's Creole.
Give it a little kick.
A little spiciness to it.
If you like the spice.
Lisa, I see you have the Tony Chichiris.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
What else
and
you got?
And then we also have, that's our Cajun seasoning from Trade East. If you want to use Cajun, I may do both after you guys are off of the line.
We like it spicy over here. We like it spicy.
And if you need to, flavor it a little bit more, that's fine. Okay, so that's if you got your green pepper, your onion, your thyme, your mushrooms and everything, and then your corn, black eyed peas. You can add more black eyed peas if you want, or whatever you want to do. Now is the time to add our collard greens.
Right.
So if you may need a little bit more water, or you may not. Just depends on how soupy or how much water you want in your dish. Is totally up to you, how soupy or however you want it in terms of the liquid consistency of this dish. So now we're going to add our collard green. So you can do just like I did, maybe that's probably about a cup.
So you put 2 cups in?
So I want to put 2 cups in at about 2 cups in at a time, just to cover the whole top of the of your pan or your dish. It was more than 2 cups, but just cover your entire pan or your entire dish with at least 1 layer of the collard green.
All right.
Okay.
Looking good.
So while that collard green is cooking, that steam is going to start to tenderize those leaves, and then you can start to cover the collard green with the liquid from the succotash. So again, you can make this completely vegetarian if you want, by adding a vegetarian chicken base to it, or if you're just vegetarian and you want a little bit more of you know, you want a little bit more flavor to the dish, you can add your chicken base or, you know, different seasonings and spices, you know, whatever you want. And so as you can see in a few minutes that it's already cooked down.
So for those doing Lent, is this a good dish for Lent season?
Yeah, if you want to,
Yeah.
you know, if that's your, I don't know what you're doing for Lent,
Yeah.
you know, I don't know.
Some
if you
people
want to be
eliminate meat.
vegetarian or if you
And
eliminate
so this
meat,
is
then this
a
would be
good dish.
perfect for that. So I like a little bit more collard green for me personally. So I'm going to add a little bit
If
more.
you all see how the first batch of greens kind of like already soaked into the dish. So now he's layering it with the second.
Again, this is very, very healthy.
Very healthy.
And then I'm going to add, wait a minute, I'm going to let this cook down. Then I'm going to add some more. I'm going to add some more. I'm going to add the powdered component at the time to this. I think I got on there. On the recipe, I have ground thyme, I believe. So we're going to add the ground thyme at the end. As you can see, the collard greens are cooking down. African Americans are famous for boiling these collard greens for hours.
That's why
at least an hour
most people do this in a crock pot.
Yeah, so you just do collard greens. You can boil these things down for at least an hour or two.
Yeah.
And that creates that pot liquor that I talked about, which is a very nutritious because you got all the elements of the collard green, all the nutrients are in the juice. And so at the end, you can drink what we call the pot liquor, which they have pot liquor diets and everything. So at the end, because of all the different, yeah, and so I'm going to add maybe about a half a teaspoon to a teaspoon of dry thyme.
Did you tell them to do that also?
Yeah,
okay.
I just told you.
No, I was just saying.
Oh, in the recipe thing?
Yeah.
Yeah, I believe so.
Okay.
Okay, so that we're gonna turn this. If everybody has got that down,
getting good.
what I'm going to do now. What we're going to do now, we're going to cut the fire down to low. If you need to add a little bit more water to it, you can.
See that water kind of like.
You can cover it or you can leave it uncovered. We just want those flavors to continue to meld together to give us a good.
So you can
give us a good dish.
You can't cover it.
You can cover it if you want to. If you got that type of pan, or you can leave it just like that. If you need to add a little bit more water to it, you can. So I think I will. A little bit more water. And we're gonna let that cook down because now we're gonna start.
How's everybody doing?
Everybody okay?
It's just our side. They saying thumbs up. All right.
Doing good.
All right.
Okay, so now what we're gonna do is get our salmon ready.
Okay. Back up.
So let's go to. We're gonna let that cook. You can walk away from it if you need to, or if you're in the area.
Just put that on low. Put it on low, right?
It's on low. Yeah, it should be on low. So now we got our salmon, and you're gonna need a paper towel. And we're gonna pat them dry. If you marinated them, take your salmon fillets out of your bag.
And are there any directions you have just in case anybody didn't marinate them?
Well, just hold tight. If you didn't marinate, don't worry, just hold tight until we get to the portion of the recipe where we're just going to drop them in the skillet. So don't worry, I'm gonna take 4 of these. I only need
3.
If you got 4, that's fine. Just put them on your paper towel. We're gonna pat them dry. because I don't want this liquid to pop when it gets to that oil.
You turn them.
So we marinate them with tamari sauce, which is a soy-free version of soy sauce, less sodium, gluten-free.
And what is this called? The way you position
And this
it?
is
The way you position in the salmon.
This is not called anything.
I thought you face up, or I mean.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, that's face up.
Okay.
I'm just putting them in the dish. You know, it's not called anything. You know, so we did it with the marinade was tamari sauce, your garlic powder, and ginger. Ginger again, very potent in terms of being an antioxidant and a cleanser.
It's good for the stomach also.
Good for your stomach. Yep.
I have two questions. The first one is, should we keep the marinade or throw it out?
No, you can throw that out.
Okay. And then my second question is, if what other substitutes can you use for tamari if you don't have that?
If you don't have tamari, you can use just plain old soy sauce or coconut aminos.
Nobody has that. Nobody has that.
I don't know. Remember they talked about that before.
Okay.
Okay, so
My sister loves it, so.
Okay.
yeah, see?
Okay.
Coconut aminos or soy sauce will be just fine.
Okay.
So
All
now,
right.
once you get them all patted
Back
dry,
over
you got
here.
your
No, I was saying we back over
okay,
here.
so we're back over at the kitchen, and we're going to turn our non-stick. I suggest you use a non-stick skillet for the salmon, because we're going to use coconut oil, and we're going to basically fry these. Oops, sorry. So we got our salmon. We're going to take our non-stick skillet, if you got one, and put it on a medium-high heat, because we're going to use coconut oil for this. To prepare our salmon or to sear it.
That's my coconut oil.
Yeah, I use
coconut oil.
Coconut oil. I didn't have anything else. So here's the coconut oil. Coconut oil, very heart healthy.
I use that in my hair.
Well, but it's not a hair. You know, you can use coconut oil for that. Yes, but this is. You didn't use this for your hair.
No, I was an unopened bottle, and I'm wondering where my coconut oil is, and it's in the kitchen.
Well, I love coconut oil. It's great in terms of, you know, for your heart healthy again. And it's a good flavor, but you don't want this coconut oil to smoke. So what I'm about to do is add about, I'm going to do a tablespoon, 2 tablespoons. Coconut oil in that skillet. Again, it's good for medium frying, which we're about to do. You don't want to fry with this because it's got a low smoke point, meaning they'll start smoking real quick. So we don't want it to do that. And I'm going to take should be pretty good in terms of the heat. So I'm going to take my salmon meat side down.
That's what I was trying to get you to say. Meat side down. This is the meat side. Okay. Some people don't. I don't cook, so some people don't know that.
Meat side down. Medium high, not too high.
Okay.
So you're going to want this to sear, but we don't want it to stick to the bottom of the pan. So make sure you kind of
like gently rubbing it, or what you just did.
Swerve around.
They're asking why the meat side down first.
Well, because we want it to sear first. So if you want to see that sear, you know, we're going to do the skin side down after we get the sear on the front end first.
What do you mean by sear? I don't cook. I don't know what that
The
means.
sear is getting it. We're going to have it brown.
Okay, there you go.
And then we're going to sear the juices on the inside of the meat to give it more flavor.
Gotcha. All right.
Okay. So
somebody had that question. I'm telling you.
Okay.
And, you know, they probably just didn't ask. All right.
That's good. So again, you don't want it to
low fire.
Medium to medium low fire. I said medium initially. Then you want to start to I don't want it to burn. and we want that meat side to sear first, because a lot of times when you don't want to sear that skin, you want the oil to be kind of cured, so to speak. Because when you first drop that oil in, and then you go to fry something, it's going to be nice and clean. You're going to have a cleaner look to it.
621.
Okay. So it should be starting to sear now. If you don't have tongs, you can use a spatula, whatever. Kind of check that sear. You're going to cook this for a little while until you can see a sear on the bottom. It should be a couple of more minutes. If you want to check, you can look and see the brownness and the crisp on the top or on that meat side down.
So that's what he's looking for, like the crispiness on the bottom side. If that makes sense.
Yep. So it's almost like frying it, but you don't want to fry the entire piece. You just want to sear the surface of the meat. You can do this with chicken. You can do it with different types of fish, a sturdy fish.
Can you do it with steak also?
Yeah, you can do this with steak, but you may not use coconut oil with steak. You may use a butter, something like that. Something with a little bit more flavor that complements. Now you could probably do this. You could do the salmon actually with butter, but for health, if you want it to be healthier and you're more heart health conscious, then you use this coconut oil, because it's pretty good for searing. So let's check and see what it looks like.
Nice there we go.
If you want it to be a little bit more brown, I want it a little browner. Flip it back.
This is a quick process, only a couple minutes, literally.
That probably is about at the 4 minute mark right now. In terms of searing it, making sure that you have initially a medium high heat and then do medium low, because we still want the salmon to cook through. Some people like their salmon to be medium well or have a little pink to it, and then some people don't like that at all. And then if you can check your succotash if you want. And
this is for people who really can cook, go back and forth like this. Like
you can see
I hope he's not going to.
Those collard greens are starting to cook up real well. So now I think my sear is probably where I want it to be. So yeah, that's pretty nice.
All right, see that? Nice and round.
Yeah, flip it over. Now we're going to cook the skin side. This one is a little light. That's okay. So now we're going to cook the skin side. So you're going to have a crispy skin. Okay, and then we're going to cook this until you start to see some white come from the sides of the product or the meat, or it may come
white bubbles. Like, explain what the white they're looking for.
Well, it's like if it was a meat, it would be like blood coming out, but it's not blood. It's white, just a white compound.
We'll show you when it gets
that comes out of the sides of the salmon, or it could come out of the top of the meat side.
And that lets you know that the salmon is done.
When the white when you start to see the white, that means that it is done or getting done.
Okay. And now we'll definitely zoom in.
So you may have to look on the sides, but it may not be done internally. So you want to look for that whiteness to show. So sometimes it may be done, may not come about, but usually if it's done, you'll see that white, because you want it to cook to a certain internal temperature to make sure it's fully done. So
it hasn't started popping out yet.
No. So we're going to let that continue to roll.
Right. Anybody have any questions? Are we doing good? All right.
Okay. So we're going to continue to let that roll. I got my succotash here.
I have a question.
Okay.
My salmon didn't have skin on it. Does that change the cooking time?
Your salmon didn't have skin on it?
Yeah.
No, that's fine. You'll just see that seared, like you see on this, you'll see it on both sides. If you don't have the skin, that's fine. You just have to make sure that it's seared or it has that brown crispiness on the first side, whatever side you decided. So, but if there's that skin side, you probably still see the same striations as you see with the salmon. But it may be a little different because you're going to have some of that skin on the bottom, maybe a little bit, but it shouldn't matter. It's still going to be brown by the time you get done cooking both sides. So again, got our salmon going.
Smelling good, looking good.
Okay, salmon's still going. Let me check the bottom.
All right, we're back over here to salmon.
You see the bottom is starting to brown a little bit.
Yeah.
Starting to get crispy. All of them. Just let that set a little bit. And we're almost ready. Now
to eat.
Yeah, it's about done.
Okay.
It's just about ready to go.
Okay.
So I'm gonna taste it first.
So the chef is gonna taste his own. You really should let me taste it, but I mean. Well, what you think?
Yeah, that's pretty good.
All right.
Pretty good to me. Okay, so salmon is still going. I don't see a white yet. A little bit starting to come.
Okay, so let me see
Succotash is going.
what a whiteness is, so I can show them what that looks like. I don't either. Last time it was coming out everywhere.
So it still may be done, but usually you want to see that white protruding out of the side. That's okay. So you can continue to cook it if you want. Huh?
On that little piece right there, is that it? No, that ain't that. Yeah, it looks like bubbles.
It looks like it's really pretty much done, though. It should be done. So
it looks good.
Looks good.
Cook,
So
cook
now
well.
I'm going to prepare to kind of plate it up. Now the other thing, you can add either no rice to this dish. You can do
Cornbread is the best friend.
Oh yeah, you can do cornbread too. We ain't doing no cornbread.
We didn't do cornbread, but that is usually often eaten with the succotash cornbread. Yep.
Or some type of
or
bread or injera bread in Nigeria. Or you can do rice. I do brown rice, or you can do again or cauliflower rice.
Or cauliflower rice.
You do that. So I'm gonna. This is really done.
Okay, he's saying that his is pretty much done.
Should be done.
All right.
I don't see the white, but there's a little bit coming right there.
Where your fork? Right at the side.
Just a little bit. But I don't like mine to be all, I don't like it to be dry either. So I'm gonna add a little rice there. If you don't have rice, don't worry about it.
It still should be good. This is just something added that we often add to the dish. It's really a healthy party meal.
I do low carb meals, so typically I don't do a rice with it, but I'm just showing different options that you can use with the dish. Typically, I would not do a rice. It's already got some starch components with the black eyed peas. You can add black eyed peas if you want, or more black eyed peas, I should say. And then you have your corn, which can be starch or vegetable. So then I'm gonna take my rice, which is about half cup. Simply go over and then if you don't have rice, you can just start to dish it up without the rice. And I'm going to take salmon.
It's good, y'all. It's good.
Then I'm going to take the salmon, use this piece, put it on top there.
Sorry. All right, that's how it looks plated. Okay.
Okay. And then from here, we'll take a picture.
I don't have, you gotta take a picture with your camera.
Oh,
All right.
From there.
So I was looking, y'all.
Okay. From here, I'm going to do some green onion. Green onion is not really green, but anyway. Do some green onion as a garnish. And then a little thyme right there on the side.
That's a good shot. Please take a picture of that with your phone.
A little juice here. Just adding some of the juice in the succotash.
That looks good.
And there is your dish for African American History Month.
Black history.
The
All right.
Succotash
All
and
right.
salmon
That
as a
looks
protein
good.
source. Oh yeah. Is everybody done? Are they done? Is everybody?
Because I want to see what see their plates.
We're done. We're just plating.
Oh, okay, good.
All right.
Cool.
We want to see. Put it in the chat. Let's see what the outcome is.
So you can add more, if you want to add more seasonings, you can, you know, whatever you prefer. It was pretty good to me, but I have a tendency to like a little bit more spice.
Yeah, spice. So if you're a spicy eater, just add as you go.
Or if you want more time, you can add more time to it. If you're familiar with the flavor of time, you can. But that is our meal of the day.
6:32. Done. Did well. Anybody have any questions? Wow.
Yours looks good, Lisa.
Wait. Let me see Lisa. Oh, look at Lisa's.
Let me see Lisa. Oh, wow.
That looks good.
Okay.
Go, Lisa. Go, Lisa.
So if you marinated it, then you're going to get a really good flavor pop. Sure.
Wait, no.
Oh.
Not right now. Wait, this is Amy. Amy, tilt your plate just a tad. I missed her. Wait. Where's Amy's? Oh, wow. Look at Amy's. Look at
Let's see. Oh, yeah. Wow, that looks good.
Oh, look at hers. That looks so good.
Wow.
You guys look good.
Amazing.
Look at she plated hers on top of her rice.
Wow, you
That
got
looks
rice
good.
too? Okay, yeah.
Hers looks good. She got corn on the cob. I know that's right.
Got
No,
corn
I'm
on
saying
the cob, okay.
This is for the husband. This is for my toddler.
Okay, that's cute.
Yeah, you can add sauces to this. You can do just about anything. But this is one of my favorite dishes to create, is succotash.
How is it, Lisa? Is it okay? Is it pretty good? She's eating. She like, yeah. Oh yeah, look at that. Look.
Oh, that looks good.
That looks good. Mm-hmm.
Wow.
That's real good.
Wow.
All right.
Okay. All right. Amber, you got any, where you want us to go now? Got any questions?
I think this is great. Does anybody have any questions? No? All right. Doniss, I think everybody wants to go enjoy their food and maybe.
All right, they're not saying a word.
Great.
Thank
this
you.
is amazing.
Thank you so much.
Thank you all for having us.
Too much.
This has been
No,
so
she said
nice.
thank you so much.
Oh, it's BHM, right?
And
Thank you.
Doniss, you're gonna send us out the steps to make this later, just so people can add this to their rotation of food, right?
Yes, you want the full recipe. Yeah, absolutely.
Yes. Great.
All right.
Thank
you
you.
all so much.
Thank
Enjoy.
You.
Thank
Thank you, everybody.
Thanks, everyone.
Right.
you.
Have a good evening.
You too. Thank you. Bye, guys.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Oh, he's so cute.